Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. And this does some pretty ultra things. So first of all, the screen. So this screen can either be 1440p at 60 frames per second, 1080p at 120, or 1080p at 60 if you really want to save some battery life. As you can see here, the screen has a wide range of what you want it to be set for. So let's just quick set it for 1440p right here. Everyone talks about this being a big phone, and it is fairly big. Like, actually, you can probably get bigger ones out there and stuff, but it isn't quite big enough. Like, even for hands that aren't that big, like mine, I can still easily touch the camera module and easily smudge it up. And if you don't really clean it that often, that can ruin your video quality. Speaking of cameras, this camera is really good. Like, this is the first Samsung phone to shoot 8K. It only shoots 8K at 24 frames per second, but it's like, if it's 8K, you probably be willing to sacrifice like a 30 or 60 frames per second for shooting in 8K. I mean, I personally probably would never shoot in 8K just because like the type of person I am, because it does prop in a lot. Like you can see right here, like props in like quite a bit, so you can even see like my whole desk. And because since like the 108 megapixel sensor is so big, it does have to like prop in kind of a lot to that 33 megapixels to shoot the 8K. And as you can probably hear, like the more you zoom in, the louder it gets because it isolates the voices and amplifies it. And here's the portrait mode video. I think it's really good. I think it's comparable to like the iPhone and stuff. And sometimes in certain situations, I actually think it's better. I just think the iPhone does handle like better, like how it like blurs, how it gets like more intense the farther back stuff goes. So I would give this one slightly to the iPhone, but for you, it's up to you. So right here is just like the normal slow-mo. As you can see, it's pretty much just as like slow as any other slow-mo. It's like the flickering at like every other one. But then here's the ultra slow-mo. And as you can see, it takes like 10 seconds for my phone screen to move over like 1 pixel. So this is just like extremely slow and a bit over the top. And then here's like just me dropping a ball. And as you can see while the ball's falling, it's like every other frame on this looks like a water painting. So, and it's just like generally kind of blurry. And you are getting like a lot of compromises in quality, like that blurriness and like that water painting thing to shoot this slow. So I think it's like a really big gimmick, and like they kind of just want to say they got ultra slow-mo. And since it's a Samsung, it does have the dual screen feature. So as you can see, like I could be like talking to you and have the back camera in the background, or maybe I could have it opposite, and then I could move it around and stuff so that I could be like pretty much wherever. And also just be like half and half rather than picture in picture. You could just have like one half of the screen be the front camera and the other half be the back camera. You're getting less quality with this because it is like compressing each one down to a square, but I would say it's still pretty good. And we're about to do the battery test, but before we do it, I want you to know that we will be switching the screen back and forth between 1440p 60 frames per second and 1080p 120 just so we can get more accurate. So just starting off the battery test here, we're just going to like YouTube and stuff. Like, yeah, for this battery test, I'm trying to like focus like more like things that you do on this phone, because this is like a very like power user phone kind of thing. So I'm kind of like trying to do like what you would use this for, like social media or making YouTube videos. And right here, we're just doing the camera, and YouTube only dropped it 4% for that 1 hour. 1 hour. I mean, I know it's only YouTube, but it's like an hour and 4%. And yeah, but now we're just running camera, and it dropped 30% from the camera. Now we're just back to YouTube for a little while here, but I'm still like blown away that the camera dropped 30% now. And it almost shut off there, but I quick caught it. And, I mean, it looked like it shut off, but when I walked up, it was not shut off. The screen just like dimmed. Now I just had to quick fix some settings there. Now we're just like running through Call of Duty Mobile and stuff, like a very graphic intense game. But yet somehow, like, it's still barely draining the phone battery life. Like, it's only gone down like 10% in that whole hour of playing Call of Duty Mobile, just like straight. So like this is kind of crazy that how good this battery is holding up. And now we just hit 4 hours, and we're going back to the camera. Like I said before, I'm trying to do it on like things that you would use like on like this phone for the power user kind of thing, like I said before. And now just hit 5 hours, and we're just running TikTok and stuff, like I said, social media and stuff. And now we're back to the camera because I'm really trying to focus on the camera, since the camera is such a big part of this phone. Like this, like if you're getting this phone, you're probably gonna get it for like the camera and like the high power chip and stuff. Like you're not getting this just for like a super slow phone that you can just have like laying around kind of thing. And now we're about to hit 7 hours, and before we're just kind of like speeding up here, and then we're at 7 hours 30 just running some of my YouTube videos, and now just on dim mode. And I'm just gonna leave it on dim mode because if it's alright, so this got 8 hours 43 minutes and 12 seconds. So this has amazing battery life. Like you still can get like better out there, like I said before, like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which has a better battery life than on any phones. Like I mean, better for like the normal size factor. You can get like one of those sick boy phones that are pretty much just like a battery pack. But for like a general phone, the iPhone 13 is better for the battery, but this still has an amazing battery. So like you got 8 hours and 43 minutes, so this is like super strong, almost at 9 hours. And as you saw in the battery test, I focused a lot on social media and the camera, because like if you're getting this phone, that's probably like the things that you're gonna be focusing on: the crazy camera and the social media thing. And I just would like to point out, so even if this phone has a super nice battery, it is like super slippery, so it just like slides around on top or bottom, no matter like what surface you're on, it just like slides around. So a case would probably help. If you don't use a case, it's like you'd probably be like falling off your hand and stuff and slipping off your pocket. And the camera bump, since like the camera like counteracts your hand movements, it does have this weird rattly sound. If you can hear that. There. So I just want to point that out. But overall, I really like this phone. It's got a good camera, so if you really want a good camera, this phone has it. I mean, there obviously some like preference things like that portrait mode video wasn't the best. You see here, I personally think that the portrait mode video is kind of like overdone. Like on like the iPhones, like the more blurry it gets as you go back and stuff, and like you can adjust it to be like stronger and stuff. This is like just like cranks it up to like max, like no matter like how far away something is. So I do think the iPhone looks more like polished and better, but it does not mean that this is bad. Like if you don't really care about like the way the iPhone looks and you still think this looks really good, it does. And then the screen is absolutely amazing. It's either 1440p at 1440p at 60 frames per second. So it isn't 4K like the Sony Xperia Pro I or like those super high-end phones that are just like overdoing it. But this still is really good. Like most phones are 1080p, sometimes even less, like the iPhone 10R or 11s like that, and like those phones are still like relatively new, and they have like in between 1440p and 1080p. Well, this has a straight or 720p and 1080p. Well, this is just straight up 1440p. So it's a crazy good screen. And if you don't really care about like the way it looks as much, like the 1080p still looks good, and you can get 120 frames per second if you're gonna be using this for like social media scrolling and playing games and stuff. And it's got all the super high-end smartphone standards that pretty much any flagship would have. It's got extreme power. It's got a Snapdragon 865 5G. It's got 5,000 mAh battery and crazy cameras. Alright, you probably realized my shirt has been changing throughout like the video and stuff, and that is not because I'm trying to switch it up a little bit. It's because these videos take an extremely long time to make. Like this has been 3 days into making this video. So if you really like today's video, if you like today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, make sure to smash that subscribe button. As always, my name is Malachi, and peace.